last night.
Last night?
Last night. What about you guys?
Yeah, last night.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Happy to be back here in London for another press conference, another big fight, Capital Showdown from the capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. It's one of those fights, I think, which has been in the making for quite a while. Negotiations, I think, started a year ago or so. They were on, off, and so finally here we are. Finally it's happening. I think it's one of the anticipated fights in the 140-pound weight class, and I'm happy that we were able to deliver that to the fight fans. The capital of the United States, Washington, D.C., very much embraced Amir Khan when he was there, invited courtesy of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton about a month ago or so for a state dinner as an ambassador of the sport. And so he was very impressed with the city, with the people, the way he was welcomed. And Amir really wanted his next fight to be from Washington, D.C. I told him that Lamont Peterson, that's his hometown. He said, I don't mind at all. I don't mind to go to the guy's hometown. And that's the kind of fighter Amir is. And of course, it's great for Lamont as well, who has a big fan base in and around Washington, D.C., to go and fight for the 140-pound weight unified world championship right there down the street, not far from where you live and train.
Yep.
So the fight will be December the 10th at the Washington, D.C. Convention Center in Washington, D.C. It's sponsored by a large lineup of sponsors, Cerveza Tecate, AT&T, and DeWalt. In the United States, it will be televised as part of HBO World Championship Boxing. HBO is very happy to have Amir back on its premium program, World Championship Boxing. Amir has really made a tremendous name and reputation for himself in the United States. The ratings on World Championship Boxing when Amir Khan fights are among the highest, period. And so HBO is always happy to have Amir back, and clearly looks at Amir as one of its stablemates for many years to come in boxing. We all know that with Lamont Peterson, we will have Amir will have a big task, a stiff challenge ahead of him. I'd like to introduce now Team Peterson to you. First, I'd like to acknowledge Colin Hunter from Team Peterson, Patrice Harris, Peterson's co-trainer, Anthony Peterson, Lamont's brother, who might be on the card, looks to be on the card as well. The whole card, by the way, will have a very much Washington, D.C. flavor to it. It will be the biggest fight card in probably 15 or 20 years in Washington, D.C. A lot of local talent will be on there, so it's definitely going to be a fight night you wanna be there for. Then I'd like to introduce to you now and make a few comments Barry Hunter, who is Lamont Peterson's trainer and manager. Please.
Hello, London. We're delighted to be here. This is a beautiful hotel, by the way, and we like to thank the people that actually brought us here and allowed us to be here in this hotel. I thank God for being here also. We're in some troubled times, and you watch the news. A lot of times you kind of cringe because so much stuff is going on around the world. But we're able to be here today and engage in this, what I think will be a legendary fight. When you look at Amir Khan, you look at his his whole career actually. Through the amateurs. I first saw him, I believe he was about 15 years old. Was it Marquette, Michigan, Amir?
Sorry?
You came to Marquette?
No, it was
At J.O.'s?
16.
Yeah, he was about 16 years old. And so, I had, a chance to watch him all through his career, and he's an excellent fighter. And to a lot of times, when you gauge fighters, it's easy to gauge them at their high points. But at their lows is, when I like to look at them, when you can come back from a defeat. And, not only did he come back from a defeat, he came back and he won a world title. So, I got to give him big props for that. And, he's a good person. On the flip side, you know, you look at Lamont, you know, and I'm totally biased when it comes to him. He's been fighting ever since he was 10 years old. You know, first time he ever came in the gym, he was weighing like 63 pounds. And their path almost was the same. Lamont's been a champ his whole career, in the amateurs and the pros. And, you know, I'm more than confident that December the 10th will be his day to become world champion in boxing. This has been a journey, and you can't ask for a better thing than to be able to fight for the world title at home, where you first started, and to win a world title just be, you know, totally, you know, off the Richter. So I'm very, very much so looking forward to it. I thank Golden Boy, Richard Schaefer. As Richard said, when this fight was on, it was off, it was on, it was off. But, you know, through work with Richard and Eric Gomez, along with the whole Golden Boy Association and the Khans, we were able to pull it off. So December the 10th will be showdown. Please do not miss it, because I feel as though, you know, if you look at both of these guys' style, both of them get up off the canvas and fight harder than they did when they went down, before they went down to the canvas. And they both throw a whole bunch of punches. Lamont can box and bang. Amir will stand in the trenches. We'll throw 1,001 punches. So I think that this fight could easily be candidate for Fight of the Year. So December the 10th, I look forward to seeing you guys there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barry. Lamont Peterson has an impressive amateur record, including a 2001 National Golden Gloves and the National Amateur Championship in 2003, before he turned pro in 2004. He won the NABO and NABF light welterweight titles before earning a WBO interim light welterweight title in 2009 with a win over Willie Blair. So as Barry said, he's been a champion. He knows what it means to be champion. He knows what it means to fight in championship fights. And here now he's going for the undisputed 140-pound world title. It is exactly these kind of opportunities young fighters or fighters dream of and work towards. And I think that's why with Lamont Peterson you have somebody who has the amateur background to really appreciate where he is and know what to do to unseat the undisputed champion Amir Khan. In December 2010, Peterson battled to a draw against Victor Ortiz. He was down, he came up, and that shows you again the kind of heart Lamont Peterson has as well. He knew how to make the necessary adjustments in the fight and gave Victor Ortiz all he could handle. And then, of course, he won the right to challenge for the title in an exciting 12th round knockout over Victor Manuel Cayo in an IBF eliminator. It is a pleasure for me now to introduce to you the 140-pound World Championship challenger, ranked #1, an exciting young fighter, tremendous personality outside of the ring as well, and that is Lamont Peterson.
How everybody doing? Just would like to say that I'm glad to be here. Glad to be fighting for a world title again. I know Amir will be training hard to defend his title, and I'll be at the gym training hard to take his title. Should be a great fight. I appreciate, you know, you give me the opportunity to fight for the world title again. I'd like to thank Golden Boy, HBO for, you know, having the fight. And I appreciate you having the fight in DC too. You know, a lot of people, you know, who are world champions won't go to somebody else's backyard to defend their title. Normally they want it in their hometown. So I give Amir a lot of credit for that. It will be a great fight, and I'm looking forward to it. Just don't miss it. If you can't make it to Washington, D.C., just check it out on HBO. Thanks.
Thank you. Actually, I have to tell you quickly a very quick story about December and fighting in the other guy's backyard. We did last December fight with Bernard Hopkins in Jean Pascal's backyard in Canada, and I asked Hopkins, why would you go to to the guy's backyard. You don't have to go to the guy's backyard. You can fight in Vegas. You can fight in Los Angeles. You can pick the spot. You're a legend. You've certainly earned the right to fight where you want. You know what his answer was? Because it's gangsta. And it is gangsta to go to the guy's hometown, Amir. I think that just shows the kind of fighter and the kind of person you are. There's no challenge big enough or tough enough. Amir is one of those guys. Just says, bring him on. The bigger, the better, and if it's in the guy's hometown, no problem. Let me introduce to you Team Khan. Of course, you guys know them well. Amir Khan is, without any question today, here in the United Kingdom, certainly the face of boxing, but really much bigger than the United Kingdom. The way he has captured the hearts and the imagination of the fight fans and sports fans in the United States in a very short period of time is really very, very remarkable. I'd like to thank some of the people which are responsible for all of that. Robert Davis, Amir Khan's attorney, who is in attendance. It's always a pleasure to work with him. He's a tough negotiator, but in the end we always somehow get it done. Tahir Khan, Amir's uncle and member of Khan Promotions. Then of course Amir's father, Shah, who is somewhere in the background. Then we like to acknowledge Alex Ariza, Amir's strength and conditioning coach, who is currently with Manny Pacquiao, but I think they're coming back early next week to start camp for you as well. And then Freddie Roach, who will be coming back as well. And then, of course, the voice behind Team Khan, you all know him well, and we have a great working relationship and friendship with him, is Asif Wali, and I'd like to hand it over to you now, Asif.
Thank you, Richard, and good afternoon, everybody. I've just got lots of information to give you as I go along. First and foremost, it was great. Thank you for our meeting last night. It was good to see you guys.
Yes, sir.
You were very humble guys. Came down, waited. Fantastic hotel, the Mayfair Hotel. You've seen this room. They're really looking after us. And Nick Stevens from the Mayfair Hotel, who is in the room somewhere, who's helped us tremendously put all this together very, very quickly. I'd like to thank Nick as well. I think he's in the back somewhere. So, plus he's giving the food out, which a lot of you are left. So he's not happy with that. So you need to take away the food with you. On a serious note, you know, when we went to Washington and we had a walk around, and you know, Richard touched on where we went to see Hillary Clinton. I was absolutely gobsmacked the amount of people stopped Amir Khan. I know we're going into somebody's own backyard. We know that. Amir's giving that away. But we also feel that we're going into his front yard as well, because the amount of people that stopped Amir knew he was a world champion fighting on HBO and being promoted by Golden Bell Promotion. Everybody talking about the Jab Judo fight. What a great fight, they were saying. It was absolutely brilliant. Stopping, taking pictures. We liked the place when we were there. We stopped there for a few days and we had a great time. We went across, and then Amir came back and started the negotiations with Richard Schaefer, and hence how we came about with this fight. Like Richard said, we only last night confirmed it's the Washington Convention Center where the fight's going to take place. We were working very hard to try and get a venue. We had two options, so that's information that's not on anywhere, but now it's the Washington Convention Center where the fight will take place. We also want to thank Golden Boy and HBO for giving us the opportunity once again to work with us. It's going to be great working with us. We've had a bit of a break. The family's had a break and we've had a break, but we're cracking to get back into it again. I'll also will announce the travel and the ticket options. We've not had the time to do that, but that will come out in due course. We'll put the packages together. We took around 4,000 fans plus across to for the Jab Judo fight in Vegas, and with this being a shorter flight, we anticipate a lot more fans going across, and I'm sure we'll have a good crowd behind us as well. just like to acknowledge MNC Saatchis, who are our newer PR agents. They're working very closely with Amir, and they're in attendance as well. So any future work we do and any profile building, MNC Saatchis have come on board with Team Khan. So that's a great addition in the UK and also in the US as well. That's me with everything. Good luck for the fight. We'll look forward to the press conference on Thursday. We hope your hotel's just as nice as this one. Otherwise, we're swapping. But we're really looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you, Asif. Washington, D.C. is a beautiful city for those who haven't been there, but in December particularly so, with the snow and the lights, and it really is a beautiful destination. So please encourage your readers or viewers to join Amir in the Capital Showdown on December the 10th in Washington. Tickets will be priced very reasonable. You're right, there were a few options available for venues. Two of them were too small with capacity around 5,000. We needed a bigger venue for that. As I said, it will be a very, very stacked card. It will be an exciting night of boxing. The Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. was booked with a basketball game, so the convention center will be able to accommodate around 12,000 people. We do anticipate a sellout because it is the biggest night of boxing Washington has seen in about 15 or so years. Now to Amir Khan. It's the 5th fight now that Amir and Golden Boy are working together. I think we have built up a very nice relationship, friendship, and I think what we have accomplished together in the United States as well is, as I said before, quite impressive. It started with Paulie Malignaggi at the Madison Square Garden. Then we went back west to Las Vegas in what became Fight of the Year against Marcos Maidana. And then back here in England with Paul McCloskey, moving on to beat world champion and one of the legends of the sport, Sam Judah, back in Las Vegas, and now to the capital, Washington, D.C. I think it is really city by city, fight by fight. Amir Khan is really becoming one of the most popular fighters in the world, in the United States, and his fan base and fan support in the US is growing tremendously. We expect that to continue with this fight here and for many more fights to come. I don't have to now walk you through all of Amir's accomplishments. They're well known. He is, you can see it, the undisputed champion at the 140-pound weight class. He is willing and always able to take on anyone, as he's shown here with his gangster move. And so it's a pleasure and an honor to introduce to you the undisputed 140-pound world champion, Amir King Khan.
Well, thank you all for turning up today. A lot of people have turned up, and we've had a lot of press here, so it's brilliant. Looking forward to this fight, December 10th. I've had a nice break, chilled out with my family, went to do my pilgrimage and everything. And you know, the last fight against Judah was a good fight. I didn't get hurt or anything, and I felt sharp in that fight and felt good. And you know, we fixed up the training camp. I'm back working with Alex Cereza, Freddie Roach, and everyone. We go back in camp December 10th. On a Monday, we start training with Freddie, and Freddie's cut the camp short in the Philippines with Manny Pacquiao just to be with me and another fighter that he's training, Linares. But yeah, you know, it's going to be great to train with Manny Pacquiao again. As you know, Manny's such a great guy to train with, and I'm sure he can give me some tips to go into this fight against Lamont Peterson. Lamont's a boxer, straight up boxer, also stands there and fights. I remember seeing, I missed his last fight, but I remember seeing him fight against Victor Ortiz, who just fought against Mayweather, and he got a draw against him. Victor did put him down, but the way he come back from that, I mean, you know, he's got a lion's heart, and that's one thing. What excites me in this fight is it's going to be exciting. I mean, you know, both fighters have been down. I've been down myself, and I've come back, and I have a big heart. He's just like me. He's a box fighter like myself, so I can see this fight being very technical. Freddie, I spoke to him not long ago, and he said we have to stick to a game plan for this fight, which is going to work for me. And he has a strategy to get me through this fight winning. You know, I'm going to be defending my titles, and I don't want to lose these titles. I worked so hard for them, and I remember when I was in Lamont's position, when, you know, I was challenging for a world title fight, and I was training twice as hard. And I know Lamont's going to be training very hard for this fight. He wants to win these titles, but, you know, I'm going to be training even harder. I know, you know, it's always harder to keep hold of the titles, and I'm fighting the best fighters in this division. I want to thank Lamont for taking this fight, because we put the fight to Bradley, he turned it down. Another name was Morales, he turned it down. And, you know, I just want to fight the best before we move up to 147. I know there's already talks about me fighting the likes of Mayweather and them guys, but, you know, I'm not looking too way ahead. I'm taking a step at a time. I've got Lamont Peterson first to fight, and all my training and, you know, my game plan is going to be on one fight, one at a time, and then we see what the future holds for us. But like I said, I just want to say thank you for you all, you know, for turning up today, and hopefully it'll be big on December 10th, and we'll bring the title back home. We hope. Thank you.
Okay, so do you want to open it up for question? Steve?
First question, please.
Lamont and Barry, how do you guys really think that you're going to get past the speed of Amir Khan? You saw Zab Judah, he's one of the greatest legends, one of the greatest fighters. And at the end of the day, he was just mesmerized. At the end of the day, how do you really think that you guys can get past that speed?
You want to take that one?
Yeah. With Zab, yeah, I mean, you can't compare me to Zab. Zab is a much shorter fighter. To me, stylistically, he had no chance in the fight. Timing always beats speed. So at the end of the day, just to keep it plain and simple, timing beats speed.
And on my side is, you know, Lamont, one of those rare fighters that can fight inside, does have that heart like Amir described. And Lamont is not slow either. Lamont is a boxer that prefer to fight inside, but he can do both.
But the speed factor, again, he's talking about, I've seen Lamont fight, he's not as fast as that kid.
We're not going to compare speeds. Even if you did, if you actually saw speed, if you wanted to see speed, Lamont can show you speed. But for the most part, again, he just prefer to fight a certain way, but can do both.
At the back, please. Yourself in the blue, yeah.
John Hargate, boxing team. Who will be broadcasting this in the UK?
We're in talks with a few TV networks. We should announce that in the next couple of days.
Yeah, it'll be another week or so. It's been so fast putting this fight together, so that'll take its time, and we'll come back to everybody in the next week when we come back. At the front, please.
Yeah, question to Barry Hunter, someone on the show about 8 News.
Hey, dog.
Last week, Peterson gave an interview to Reserve Radio, and he talked about some problems that he had previously. And what kind of different techniques have you been thinking about bringing to the fight, you know, without giving away the game plan? Because Amir Khan has improved a lot in these last couple of years.
Yeah, Amir has improved the last few years, and so has Lamont. I think the biggest improvement with Lamont was after the Bradley fight. And if you go back to that fight, after he went down in that fight against Bradley, he got back up and he actually hurt Bradley. But he spent the next 9 or 10 rounds or so taking that one punch knockdown personal. Go back to the Victor Ortiz fight, when he went down in Ortiz fight. Now, had it not been for that Bradley fight, then that Ortiz fight would have been the Bradley fight, if you get what I'm saying. Instead of him taking that punch personal, he became more strategic, and he made the adjustment. As Richard said, he got a draw in that fight. Some say he won the fight. But nevertheless, I saw growth in that particular fight because of the adjustments that was made after the knockdown.
Next question, please.
And then if you give us your thoughts going into the months backyard.
I've always been fighting away from home, you know, when I was an amateur and everything, and this is just another fight for me. I fought Maidana in Vegas, I fought Malanaji in his hometown in New York, and Zab Judah in Vegas where he lives now. So, you know, fighting away from home is okay. I mean, I don't mind. It makes me, you know, train a lot harder, because you have to remember that, you know, he he's the main attraction in his hometown. But and everyone's going to be watching him. He's probably going to have more support there. But I want to win the fans over there, and that's why I like to go there and fight everywhere in the world, because I want to be a global name. I don't only want to fight in England or Vegas. I want to fight all over and give my fans a chance to see me fight everywhere.
One of the yes.
Umar Farouk from Sports Night Live. I mean, similar question. What do you think would happen in the fight? How do you think it would go? What sort of fight are you expecting from the one? At this early stage, do you have any sort of prediction?
I never go into a fight thinking I'm gonna, knock the guy out. I never predict a round or anything. I just train for the full distance, for the full 12 rounds, and make sure I'm in the best condition to go the full distance, and with a high work rate, and to work very, very hard in the fight. It's going to be tough, don't get me wrong, this fight. Lamont's a lot taller than most of the opponents I fight, and he's very technical, like myself, so it's going to be like a game of chess at times, but then at times it's going to be a bit of a war. We're going to stand there and both fight, and he's very similar to me with his style, where he does like to stand there sometimes and take punches and give some back. So it's going to be exciting, and like I said, we're going to be ready for the full distance, and that's how we train normally.
Rick Manis.
Amir, obviously they're looking at strategy that they're looking at you can't fight on the inside. Are you going to show something different?
Yeah,
In a way of fighting on the inside?
Yeah.
You're a very good boxer from the outside, but again...
Many fighters have tried, to get in the insides, and they have to you start from the outside first, and it takes time to get to the inside, so that's if they can make it to the inside. So, we'll just see. And Freddie always says, he's going to, if Freddie tells him to fight on the inside, I'll do that, and we'll be working on that. He's my trainer, he's my coach, and I trust it. Whatever he says, I'll do. If it means standing in there, and because Lamont is a taller fighter, so that could be one of the game plans. We'll just stick with whatever he says. But I can fight inside when I have to. Why stand inside when you make it harder for yourself to get me? If I can stand on the outside and box and not get hit, then I'm going to stick to that.
Just one in the pink behind you.
Yeah, Cameron Sharp, boxing fancast. Amir, this is the third fight of the year. Are you concerned at all about burnout?
Sorry?
Are you concerned at all about burning out? And this is your third fight of the year.
No, I think it's been brilliant. If you think about it, I've had two fights, McCluskey fight, then I had the Judah fight. I didn't really take much punishment or anything, and the camps were really well, didn't pick up no injuries, and won the fights in good style, felt good. So I think this third fight is, I wanted 3 fights this year, and I'm looking at 3 fights next year as well, so I think 3 fights is just enough. I get to have a little break, and I don't put much weight on anyway in between fights, so I think it just works out perfect.
Okay, one at the front.
Amir Khan to Ortiz. Any possibility for him to well?
Them fights in the future can happen, but at the moment, I'm just focusing on one fighter, which is Lamont Peterson. I made that mistake in the past when I lost that fight. I was looking too far ahead, but I need to, one fight at a time. That's what I'm going to be focusing on.
One at the back, sir. Yes.
Lamont, you came up short against Timothy Bradley previously. What adjustments have you made now that make you think that you can beat Amir Khan? Because it sounds like Amir Khan is that fight.
Even though Amir can be the better fighter than Timothy Bradley, that doesn't mean that I can't beat Amir. Style makes fights. To me, shorter fighters are harder to fight than taller fighters. Always been like that for me.
Bradley, Mr. Hunter's talking about fighting inside. Bradley is going to be a pretty good inside fighter as well. So how do you play that against Hunter?
Well, to me, and this the way I feel, anybody who sit there with me and fighting the inside, regardless of how strong they are or whatever, I think I'll win that fight. I'm pretty sure I'll win that fight. So, not saying that I'll, press hard to get to Amir. I'm okay with boxing with him if that's the way the fight is going. If it just so happens to get in the inside, I'll feel comfortable being there too.
fighting obviously in your backyard. Is that added pressure facing Amir Khan for the world title shot?
I wouldn't call it added pressure. I think it adds motivation. You know, just like, you know, Amir said that, you know, fighting in someone's hometown, you know, gives him more fuel to, you know, train harder because, you know, he's going into somebody's backyard. It's going to add some fuel to me too, because I'm thinking, you know, he's coming into my hometown. I have to defend my hometown. So I will be training harder, you know, and fighting harder in there just to, you know, defend my home turf.
At the front.
Question to Richard Schaefer. Welcome to London West.
Thank you.
Now, with regard to the monetary aspect, how do you think the promotional side will go in terms of pay-per-view figures and promotional side with regard to this fight?
Well, in the United States, it's not going to be on pay-per-view. It's going to be at the highest level of HBO World Championship Boxing, which is going to pay you know, millions of dollars for this fight at the highest level. Then here in the United Kingdom, we'll see what the TV arrangements will be in the next few weeks. I really can't give you any further information of that. But obviously, whenever Amir Khan fights, because of his popularity, not just in the UK and in the United States, but the worldwide television revenues, we anticipate that Amir's fight is going to be shown in around 150 countries around the world. So that all generates TV revenues. I mentioned you before, some very big corporate sponsors, including AT&T in the United States, have now put their weight behind Amir Khan's fights as well. So obviously there's a significant revenue pot being generated, because Amir Khan today is one of the premier fighters in the world, irrespective of weight class.
Yes.
Most people think Khan's going to take some points. We know that I've seen him down the fight. Connery knocked him out. How are you going to win this fight?
How am I going to win the fight?
Yeah.
Just being me. Boxing when I need to. Trading when I need to. Just being smart. And just like I said, just being me. Madonna is Madonna. You know the way he's coming. The thing about me, you never know how I'm coming. You know, I can sit there and bang with you like everyone said. I can play the counterpuncher role. I can be the person who just out-hustles the other person. You know, so you never know with me. So it'll be something that, you know, Amir have to train for, and, you know, him and Freddie will come up with a game plan, but I can come with a whole new style. And that whole game plan will have to change for him.
So you think you couldn't change your whole style for this fight?
I could.
That'd be an interesting fight.
Okay, we're going to take one last question. Rick?
Barry.
Yes, sir.
You're fighting against one of the renowned trainers of the world, Pharaoh, and basically your skills and your tactics against his. Do you think that you're going to be able to overcome?
I'm very comfortable with the skin I'm in, man. I never get overwhelmed by reputation. I deal with the person in general. Freddie is a good man. He's a friend, actually. We just left from working with the U.S. national team. And, you know, at times we were hand in hand with strategies, you know, and then on the flip side of that, you know, maybe once he may have had something different from what I had, but for the most part, his brain functions like mine when it comes to the art of boxing. So, you know, that doesn't bother me at all. At the end of the day, you know, it's the business that we in. It's nothing personal. It's what we do. And I'm quite comfortable with going up against Freddie.
And it doesn't bother you that he seems to have the best fighters all in his stable?
And not one bit. Not one bit, because before he had the best fighters, he was just Freddie. And, you know, for the most part, see, in my case, Lamont, you look at Fernando Guerrero on his way up the ladder, you know, up to the point where I think we had like 19 fights. I dealt with him since he was about 14 years old. Tony Thompson. I've actually taken people from ground zero to world titles from the knees on up. I never had that one fighter that someone has given to me like Amir. It'd be hard for, and this is no knock on Freddie at all, because I love the man, but Amir was Amir before Freddie got Amir, for the most part. I think there's been some improvements, but you look at Amir, you look at Manny Pacquiao and some of these other fighters, hell, give me one of those. I think I can ride him to a world title also. But nevertheless, you look at Lamont, his brother, Tony Thompson, Fernando Guerrero, these are people that I pretty much raised from the knees on up to world title shots. So I'm real comfortable with it.
Okay, there's a last question and there's a final question, so go ahead.
Yeah, just as far as Manny Pacquiao, how much does it help your development in fights?
It's helped me a lot. Sparring Manny and the sparring, I think, in a way, that's the difference in training in England and training in America. When you spar in America, it's like a war. It's like having a fight, actual fight. And we have when I sparred Manny Pacquiao, we never take it easy on each other. It's a full-on spar. But for this fight, Manny will be training at the same time as me, so we'll be sharing the camp together. We'll be running together in the morning, but we'll be doing boxing sessions at separate times. But I think we won't be sparring this time because Manny's a southpaw and Lamont's an orthodox fighter, so, and they've got different styles, different heights. So we're going to be probably having different sparring partners this time. But you know, it's just inspiration. You know, when you train with someone like Manny Pacquiao, one of the best fighters in the world. So hopefully you can, like I say, you can maybe pass some tips on to me and get me through this fight as well.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to conclude, we'll let Richard say the last few words, and then we'll take the press upstairs as we agreed. We have Ollie, who's going to come to the front, and he's going to take half the snappers upstairs and the other half in 2 lifts. So just please bear with us while we take you upstairs. No interviews until after we come downstairs, because that's not what we want to get into. We'll do the snaps here and we'll take everybody upstairs. Over to you, Richard. Final words.
Great. Thank you very much, Asif. Thank you all for coming. I look forward to seeing you December 10th in Washington, D.C. for Capital Showdown, Amir Khan, for the undisputed 140-pound world titles against Lamont Peterson. Thank you very much.
Head to head, Richard.
Root beer down. You said we need some root beer down. I don't know. Let me know.